Alright, folks, and welcome back to the channel here to discuss today's game at Tannadice, where it finished Dundee United 0, Celtic 4, as Celtic treated us to more free-flowing attacking football and got us into the hat for the quarter-finals of the Premier Sports Cup. I'm joined by Alistair to go over it. Alistair, really good day at the office. Yet again, we kind of backed up last week's performance, which was obviously good to see.
I mean that's 10 goals, one conceded in three in three games, mate. And it's the old adage you can only beat what's put in front of you. Slow start, but eventually got a grip in the game and took my chances when we got them.
Aye, full changes were made to the squad that played Kilmarnock. Kobe Donovan came in at right back as we thought. Bit surprised Liam Scales came in at left back, but I can see where they're coming from because Celtic have no brought in a backup left back. But anyway, but Kieran Tierney was rested obviously for midweek, which was the right decision. Oxlade Chamberlain came in for which I was quite surprised at. I knew Arne Engels wouldn't play, so I was quite surprised it was Chamberlain who was brought in. But it was good to see him, because as I said, I was kind of losing faith in the Chamberlain signing because we just hadn't seen him at all this season. So it was good to see him come in. And who was up front again? It was Hujaran and
We just ran
Tan-
into that.
Taneke up front. So four changes were made, and as Alistair said, it was a bit of a slow start. But you know what? We managed to get there in the end. First goal came for Austin Trusty. Negri made a good delivery, and the marking for me for the Dundee United players are shocking, to be honest. But
Oh, can I just say that the St. Aloysius Mafia have finally got a set piece coach? Can we claim that now, or is it just.
okay, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes with the set piece coach. By the way, this Irish Mafia. That's what Alistair calls the board. So, um, but no, I think the set pieces leave it half just now. I was scored one a day, which was good. And but we can. I'll wait to see, to be honest. And if they start becoming a regular occurrence, then we can come on here and say it's worked wonders. But no, Trusty latched onto the ball into the box. Decent header for Trusty, and we're 1-0 up. At that point, I thought we just kind of settled down after a kind of dodgy start. Dundee United wanted to press us up really high and commute. Really wanted to make a game of it. The second goal came through Camilo Duran, basically ball into the box and came in kind of controversial fashion because Casper Ho, the ball hit his hand and it kind of deflected into the path of Duran. Obviously, there's been a total normal reaction to that yet again, corruption, all this sort of rubbish. But the rules state that apparently if this isn't just me making this up, the rules state if the ball deflects off a player who didn't score the goal accidentally, then then the goal doesn't get disallowed because it's an accident and that player that handballed the ball did not score the goal. No mate makes up the rules, so if you want to make up your own
No,
mind
no,
about
we'd be here all night arguing about handball rules. So we're not going.
um no, so but second goal, Duran got on a score sheet, which Alistair, I don't know about you, but I was really pleased from because he was annoyed last week. I think he was frustrated that he kind of deserved a goal last week, and I do feel for him as well. I think he doesn't like the fact that he's been playing out of position, and but he's still going out there and he's still doing it, and he put in a raw, really good display in the day.
He's still looking a threat, Josh, and that's what you want for your forward players. But I do think there'll be some games the big man, big Casper, will bail us out, and sometimes it'll be Duran that'll bail us out. That's what you've got a, a forward line for.
Aye, no, definitely. Um, I think Casper didn't obviously score today, but I still thought his hold up play what I liked about him as well, we'll go into individual players in a minute, but what I liked about him as well, he was getting annoyed at his teammates. And I know that might
I
sound
like
silly,
that.
but as I told Alistair before we recorded, there was a point in the second half where he's in his own half, and I think it's when Celtic really took the foot off the gas, but we'll go into that kind of bit later on. And we took the foot completely off the gas, and Ho had kind of tried to flick it on into the midfield, and there was no reality. I mean, he was, I don't know what he was saying, but I think it was a few harsh words. I think it was a shoot, a few F's and blinding, man. I think he was no
It
very
was,
happy, which
it was for fuck's sake, Liam, get the ball over.
aye, pretty much, aye. Uh,
Aye.
so, and I get that. I like he was being he was getting frustrated, but I think overall his hold up play was still pretty. And I think the big thing I think everybody's going to forget about Casper Ho is um
It's an
his
outball.
he's an outball, but also as well they know how good that guy is. So automatically there's going to be two men on him. It allows space for Duran to come in, Nygren, and I think that's why we're going to see the best players like Benjamin Nygren because he's going to have. Maybe last season everybody was on Nygren because they thought because it was last season you stopped Nygren at a
He's the
point.
only goal for it, aye.
Aye, you stop Nygren, you stop Celtic. Just like we always say, you got on McGregor, you stop Callum McGregor, you probably stop Celtic. It's got to be similar with Casper Who, so he might not score every week, but what he will do, he will open up
Well,
avenues
if
for
it
the
gets
rest of his
goals and
teammates.
assists,
Aye, you
then
know
happy days.
that's what he'll do. He will open up kind of space for his teammates to come in, and obviously we saw that with Duran's goal. Into the second half. We're just obviously looking not to concede the first goal because then it's back to 2-1 game on. But we didn't. We scored a third goal. I thought, to be honest, I thought Dundee United. I know it's going to sound mental because we won the second half 2-0. I thought Dundee United were a better team in the second half, to be honest. But we'll obviously go into that. But after a bit of kind of pressure for Dundee United, um, we get the third goal through Benjamin Nygren. Another outstanding finish. Alistair, what did you make it?
I just would like to say about Nigrin's goal. It's almost a carbon copy's goal at Firth Park. A carbon copy, the same kind of shot, postage stamp, and the goalkeeper didn't have a hope in hell of saving it. And I would also say, and I'm sure we'll get to him, the other goal scorer had his best game in a Celtic shirt, I would say. It
We'll
was a
get to
oh,
individual players at the moment, but I want to talk about Nygren because I'm going to say it, I'm going to keep saying it. I don't think the guy gets the credit he deserves. I really don't. And I think, we're quick to give credit to, the more kind of flashier players like your Gerrans and your Casper, who and I understand it. I just think the guy's record, and no matter if you think he's good enough or do you think his other bits of play are good enough, I'm going to be like, I couldn't give a fucking flying fuck, to be honest. The guy
yeah,
scores goals. He's a constant outlet for Celtic for goals, and he's shown again the day. That's 3 goals in 3 games. You can't sniff your nose up at that.
well, he's definitely going to hit double figures.
I think that's 3 goals and 2 assists in 3 games.
Mm. Aye.
And you can't. I'm sorry, you just can't. He bailed us out first game of the season. The second, obviously, the game against Kamal, he couldn't miss, but he's there. And the third, the goal of the day is brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. And I just think if somebody like Duran or Casper who scored that goal, everybody would have a bigger reaction. So I'd like to see him get the credit he deserves a bit because his numbers are
Do you
tremendous.
think he's an easy target?
I just think that they've got, and I'm not, maybe I'm completely wrong in talking utter shite. It's just what I've seen, and I just think people get this idea that Nygren, he doesn't really do much. He just scores goals and assists, and I'm like, that's what
Exactly what you
football's.
want.
I think we also need to look at. We've spent 1.5 million on Negrin.
Yeah.
You're not going to get this complete player at times, and I just think we've got this unrealistic expectation of Benjamin Negrin, and that's not me doing him a disservice. But I think we expect him to come in and just do everything. Benny really works that. He's good. He's good. He's got a good brain on him. He's not the quickest, but he uses his brain to get into those positions to get on the end of things, and that's what I like about him. I don't know. It's just certain players that you take to, and Negrin for me's always been like that. I've always kind of took to Negrin and maybe defended him like at times because I just think he's got something about him.
Well, I, I, Nigrin, I gave a lot of stick to last year, I'm not gonna lie. Watch back the videos, plug the channel there just 5 minutes later. But no, I gave him a lot of stick last year for his work rate. But we, I've definitely seen an improved Nigrin in the 3 games. And I don't know if it's you say Casper was taking the weight off him, or he's get somebody to play off. But it's more to it, I say.
I think it's as simple. I think it's just last season, he was a guy that bailed us out because he did. I think everybody, and that's what I'm going to say. I said this a few weeks back. Everybody talks about how Maida bailed us out. No, for the first 6 months of the season,
Well, we
it was.
would have been nowhere near that if it wasn't for Nigrin.
Um,
That's no me taking it away from my either, actually. But
no, no, I'm not taking it away from either. I just think that obviously we wouldn't be having this conversation if it wasn't for Negrin. I think the difference is now he's got some pals to take some of the load off him, take some of the weight.
Mystic Joshua was that say if he's in a good Celtic team, you'll see the best of him.
Aye, and I
I
think
think
that's what we're
that's
seeing at the moment.
completely right. So,
Um, I think that's what we're
he
seeing at the
won't
moment.
get his head through the door now.
Um,
But no,
no, I think that's what we're seeing with Negret, and I just like I think he's got something that nobody else in the team's got, and that's the fact that he can just pop up. He
and
seems to
peel
just be able
away.
to.
He's no get the running power they say a Petrov. He's no get the physical attribute. He's probably is. He's probably if I was to pick a player, he's like probably Tom Rogic with that ability
He's
to
just he's
bang
just
it
got an
in.
intelligence. He's got an intelligence for the game, and you can't teach that. You just cannot teach that in a player. And like Matt O'Reilly, he had that intelligence for the game. There's just certain things you can't teach. Like Rogic had an intelligence for the game. You can't teach that. You just can't teach that, and that's what Negrin's got for me. Um, but enough about Negrin. I've spoken enough about him. But um, the fourth goal was scored by Sebastian Tenecki, and I've gave him a lot of stick. And I'm sorry, it's been merited for me with Tenecki, and because he's just no offered anywhere near enough for me in terms of what a Celtic winger should do. But you try and give him the benefit of doubt, and because there's moments where he can do it. But the big thing for me with Alistair is with Tenecki is it can't just be moments. This is last chance saloon for Sebastian Tenecki, and I'm glad he got a goal. He took it really well. He was direct, and it meant a lot to him. I think it meant you can see, and I think he really wants to do well. He wants it to work, and I'm not. I want it to work for Sebastian Tenecki, and because I like the guy. The guy's got a good attitude. He's no huffing. He's trying, and you can see. Sometimes I think it's just his ability just holds him back. But see if he's just a bit more direct, then I think it's when he starts to fart about.
Yeah, it's when he does things off the cuff and just does it. That's when he's a good player. It's when he thinks about it. It's just
Cause I
he'll
text
prepare the ball.
I text Nathan I think literally 2 minutes before the goal saying Taneki's pish. Because he was being fucking, he was rotten, to be
well,
honest.
I take it you mean before the
Before the goal, and then he scored, and I'm like, right, fuck.
and I bet you Nathan texts you right back. You were saying or something.
No, he agreed with me, so we
Right.
actually agreed on that, which, like a clock, it's right twice a day. But,
I thought they were
so,
going to say it was something to do with that club. You and Nathan agreed
aye,
with
well,
each
maybe
other.
that as well, but aye. No, but, you know, I noticed at the end of last season as well, in the split, he just started running and it was working. And I'm not saying he's just running about like head. He's obviously got good dribbling stats. Use them. You don't need to skin 6 players before putting the ball into the box. If the ball's there to be put into the box, there. If the ball's there to be shot, you shoot. If you can dribble, you've got space. Fucking use it. Because you've got the ability. Use it.
I think he's a stereotypical inconsistent winger.
And that's why I think there's still something there. That's why I think there is. And that's what fucking frustrates the life out of me. When it comes to Taneki, I think there's something there. But he just needs to find it on a consistent basis. Because he does really well for the goal. The finish is great. The dribble up to it, brilliant. Use it and, feed off of Duran and feed off of Taneki, feed off of Nigran and feed off Casper. Use your ability, you've got it there. And I know we're really harsh on Taneki, but I don't want to be because he's like Nigran, I like him as a player. He seems to want to, he's passionate about everything. He's wanted to do really well, but he does my fucking head in. Just do it.
Every club's got one of them.
You want to get on board the Taneki train, so to speak. But you're just thinking, well, maybe, but then you're like, it's just because he shows glimpses of some good stuff. There's a point before the goal where he's back to goal like an hour and a half, and he uses his awareness really well just to spin the guy and off he went. Do it more often, man. You've got the ability, and that's what that's what really annoys me with Taneki. It really does, because I know the guys get the ability. Just please can show it, man.
Yeah, I would also say the biggest negative I had Russell key in was was um was the amount of chances we were getting,
Right, we'll
especially
come on to that
with
then. We'll come on to that then, because I was about to speak about that. No, I'm no moaning. I'm no being negative. I'm just looking at bits. Some of it we looked a bit easy to get at. I think it was a bit shaky. I will caveat and
the
say,
manager confirmed that with his comments after the game. To be honest,
I know. I think even that was the good thing at Martin Williams. But they are going to need to fix this, because this was a problem last season as well. We were too easy to create chances against. I'm not saying we're going to go through games where we don't get a chance created against us, but you need to make it really difficult, especially with the games I've got coming up, especially that Champions League playoff. You need to make it difficult, and I don't know if it was maybe just because we were cruising, because the last 2 games we've been cruising, and it's maybe complacency stepping in. Maybe that's probably part of it. But it was the same against Dundee. I think there was a lot of chances that that Dundee were creating. So that's my only small issue, but I want it to stay a small issue. I don't want it becoming a bigger issue, and that's why I'm highlighting it at this moment in time, because I don't want to highlight it when we lose a game. Because I don't want to come on here all
yeah,
singing, all dancing when we win a game, but then when we lose a game, all the world's ending. So you
near
need to highlight.
balance, near balance.
Aye, don't get around performance outstanding again. There's just wee bits I'm just a bit like, right, shut 'em up there a bit, because you're not going to get away with that in the Europa League or the Champions League.
Oh yeah, any European competition.
Aye, exactly. So, just wee bits and bobs that I think we need to just sharpen up on, and that's my only negative. but overall, for me, the performance was good, and we just continued, which I wanted to. It was a tough place to go, especially after kind of last results. They've not been a great place to go for us, but it was a good result. Alistair, man of the match, who are you going to go with?
It's a hard one tonight because a lot of teams, a lot of teams played well. We slept there, and a lot of players played well. But I'm going to get to for his first goal for Celtic. I'm going to get to Duran.
I thought Durham was decent. As you say, there's a lot of candidates. So, attack wise, Negrin, I've says my piece on. Um, Chamberlain, as I said, thought was decent. In terms, he's another one for me. He's got that intelligence. I think it's just, unfortunately, it's just his legs are going to just let him down. But he's got that intelligence. There's a point out in the first half where he pings like a fucking 30-yard pass and he
Yeah.
just goes.
Oh, but well, I remembered, like, and I promised myself on the way home for the game I would mention that. Casper Ho had an outrageous bit of skill, and I just wish something came of it. I think you'll remember it. Scales played a ball, and he looked second favourite all the way, and he manages somehow to knock it round the guy, and he gets in. And I thought we were going to score for it, but it's an outrageous bit of skill. So maybe Casper, who isn't just a goal scorer.
No, I don't think he is. I think he is. We've kind of said he is. He's got everything really for me. I think he's a focal point, which I think he showed merit of the day. Because obviously didn't get on the score sheet, but he's showed he was a focal point. But for man of the match for me, I'm going to get to Taneki, and I know it's going to sound very hypocritical because I just called him pish. Um, and but I was glad for him, and I'm like, maybe I'm just hanging on to the last bit of hope. That he is going to come good.
Call me cynical, but he's probably seen we've signed Hazan, and maybe that's. I better get my finger at
But
my.
that's the point of signing. That's the point. It's not just about a signing coming in and them getting straight in. It's for the players to go, alright, fuck, I've got a bit of competition here. That was the problem last season. Too many people were too comfortable. And not Taneki knew he was playing every week because the players beneath him were shite.
Yeah,
Yang probably knew he was playing every week because the wingers were rubbish. You know, Kenny, Iniacho, they knew they were playing it because the players. That's the point. That's another big point of a signing. It's to try and push the players that are already here. And, I go back to when we had Kyogo and Yakimakis pushing each other. There was a reason the two of them were at the top of their game because they were pushing each other. Aye, they were great football players, but they were pushing each other.
and
Just like I hope as well with Duran, he's got out to Casper Ho. No, I'm the centre forward here. Fuck off. Because
well,
that's what you want. You
get,
want fight.
get the benefit of it, aye.
You want fight. I'm not saying they should be squaring up to the fucking dressing room and know that sort of fight. But you want that competition because it benefits the team and it benefits us because we see goal scoring performances and we see performances, especially in the attacking areas, that have been really good. As you says, 10 goals scored and 1 conceded in 3 games. You can't complain. For me, it's on to Wednesday. Massive game, massive kind of 2 weeks for Celtic in the season. It always is when it comes to playoff time for the Champions League. But if we can play like that and maybe tighten up defensive a bit, I'm confident we can go and get the job done. But it's about trying to keep playing like that and try and tighten up defensively. But no, I'm going to wrap it up there for tonight's video. We'll be back at some point through the week. We build up to that crucial Champions League first leg on Wednesday against Lask at Celtic Park. But until next time, we'll speak to you later. And hail, hail.
Hell, hell.